Live from Maiden Gervais, ABC Columbia News at 6.
You are seeing a live look at Times Square in New York City, which normally would be packed with people ready to celebrate the new year. That is definitely not the case in 2020. Good evening and happy New Year's Eve, everybody. I'm Josh Berry. Miserable weather today for the end of a year. I think it's safe to say that everyone is ready to say goodbye to. What can we expect tonight as we ring in the new year, as we bring in meteorologist Kaitlin Wright? Kaitlin?
Yeah, a little bit more of this. Now, it's not going to be a total washout, though, Josh, so that is good news. But we are looking at just numerous showers across the area. East of Columbia, that's where we're dealing with kind of the more moderate to even light rain, and then just a little bit of a drizzle west of Columbia towards Saluda, Edgefield. You guys are kind of just dealing with that drizzle right now. But a little more of this for a couple more hours, then we get a break. But we're not done. We're going to see it again. So kind of waves of rain as we head through the next couple of days. Current visibility, what we're looking at is 3, 4, 5 miles in the way of that dense fog. So please be careful. If you are traveling out there this evening or even early tomorrow, we're still going to be dealing with some of that fog. Now, current temperatures due to that low cloud deck, we're seeing cooler temperatures, but not as cold as what we were seeing yesterday. Columbia 54 degrees, heading over to Camden 54, Sumter 55, Manning. You guys are checking in the 50s as well. So temperatures will be going up. Rain coverage not going up, not going down, kind of just remaining how it has been. So I'll time out the rain coverage for you as we head into the new year, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Kaitlin, thanks so much. Well, New Year's Eve certainly looks a lot different all around the world and right here in the Midlands for that matter, and it's all because of COVID-19. State and local leaders are pleading for people to stay at home tonight to ring in the new year. But there are still several restaurants preparing for events this evening on what is normally one of the biggest nights of the year.
Our staff is very well educated as to how we can best protect you and take care of you, and we can also space people out a whole lot better.
The City of Columbia's annual famously hot New Year's celebration will be held virtually this evening instead of its usual location in downtown. Now, earlier this week, the governor urged South Carolina residents to practice caution this New Year's Eve. He said that South Carolinians know what to do to limit the virus's spread, but there are indications that folks may be letting their guard down as it related to large gatherings. The governor says attendance at indoor or outdoor events may not exceed 250 people or 50% of a building's capacity. For a list of approved New Year's Eve events, you can go to our website at abccolumbia.com. Well, it is perhaps the most anticipated day of the year. Time to say goodbye to 2020 and kick off what we hope will be a fresh, renewed start in 2021. But this year's celebrations will look much different. Darryl Forges is in New York City's iconic Times Square for a socially distanced send-off to 2020.
Well, the day is finally here. Happy New Year to you. Now, you know the saying, out with the old, in with the new. A lot of people are just ready to get 2020 over with. Now, in years past, of course, you would see millions of people lined up here in Times Square to bring in the new year. But because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it's a much different look this year. And for the first time, the NYPD's message to the public, do not come to Times Square.
The new year is almost here!
The glittering crystal ball is up and ready to be dropped.
We get to say goodbye to 2020. I cannot think of a more joyous, exceptional, wonderful celebration than that.
Typically, hundreds of thousands of people pack into Midtown Manhattan to ring in the new year. But this year is anything but typical.
Don't come. Do not come to the area. If you think you're going to be able to stand there and watch the ball, you're mistaken.
Instead, the city is making room to honor this year's heroes.
It's going to definitely be magical. Those invited guests are our healthcare heroes, our essential workers who did amazing things in the year 2020 to see this city through. So that's going to be part of the magic.
It's been exactly a year since mysterious cases of sickness were first reported to the World Health Organization. Over the following 365 days, COVID-19 touched all corners of the earth and changed our way of life. Now, the world is ready for better days. From Australia to Hong Kong and beyond, fireworks lit up the sky to bid farewell to 2020. It will be a similar sight in Times Square.
One thing unifies all of us as Americans. We want to get the hell rid of 2020.
As the city brings the fun to usher in 2021.
I guarantee you I will push that button on time and make sure we get the new year immediately.
Immediately, that's a big hope. And of course, 2020 is going out in a very 2020-ish type of fashion, right? Now, even though people are not allowed here on Times Square, you can still watch the performances live from the comfort of your own home. There are several performances lined up here in Times Square, including Nelly, Miley Cyrus, and even Meg Thee Stallion. In Times Square, I'm Darryl Forges.
All right, well, before the clock strikes midnight here in the Midlands, we hope you will join us at 11 o'clock tonight for a look back at the stories that shaped our community in what was certainly a year unlike any other. ABC Columbia's 2020 Year in Review, that begins tonight at 11. Now to the very latest on coronavirus in South Carolina. The percentage of positive COVID-19 tests continues to be well above some of the recent averages that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. According to DHEC, of the more than 10,000 most recent test results, 3,234 or 31.2% were positive. The agency also announced 39 additional confirmed COVID-19 deaths. Well, today, more than 39,000 South Carolinians have received their COVID-19 vaccination. Officials say distributing a vaccine like this is an undertaking unlike anything in our nation's history.
We're working with other, healthcare provider offices, as well as we're working to be setting up some DHEC vaccination clinics. And one of the things that we are looking at is making sure that there's access throughout the state, including in the rural and underserved areas.
South Carolina is currently in phase 1 of the vaccine distribution, which includes those in extended care facilities and medical personnel. Phase 1B will include those over 75 and frontline essential workers, including police and fire personnel. Millions of Americans will see their $600 COVID stimulus payments show up in their bank accounts over the next week as the Treasury sends out cash at an unprecedented speed. But the battle for bigger payments is still raging in Washington. President Trump's continued call for $2,000 stimulus checks has led to a shocking alignment with Democrats who are pressuring Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to take up a vote on that issue. But McConnell is shutting down their demands. Nadia Romero has the very latest in Washington.
As Americans across the country began to see $600 COVID stimulus payments show up in their bank accounts, President Trump continues to press for a bigger payout, tweeting $2,000 ASAP. His demand leading to an unlikely alliance with Democrats.
For once, Democrats agree with something on President Trump's Twitter feed.
But Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is not buying in.
Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer are trying to pull a fast one on the president and the American people.
McConnell effectively slamming the door Wednesday against the check increase by bundling the measure with two of President Trump's other demands, repealing online liability protections and investigating voter fraud, creating a, quote, poison pill that could never pass.
To ensure the president was comfortable signing the bill into law, the Senate committed to beginning one process that would combine three of the president's priorities.
Democrats are crying foul.
The Senate deserves the opportunity for an up or down vote on increasing the individual payments to the American people.
In an effort to fight back, Senator Bernie Sanders is threatening to delay the vote to override the president's veto of the defense spending bill, but McConnell remains unmoved.
The Senate will stay on this important bill until we complete it one way or another.
In Washington, I'm Nadia Romero.
All right, a second member of South Carolina's congressional delegation says he will object to the certification of the Electoral College results following the presidential elections. Representative Joe Wilson refers to alleged voting irregularities in his reasoning behind the protest. Congressman Jeff Duncan of South Carolina has also said he would object. Former U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr, who served during the 2020 election, has said there was no evidence of widespread election fraud in November's election. Joe Biden defeated President Donald Trump with 306 electoral votes. Coming up, how you can save a life in the new year. Plus, we'll take you to New Year's celebrations already underway all around the world. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Blood donations remain essential to the health of our community. Join ABC Columbia, iHeartMedia, and the American Red Cross for our annual blood drive, Tuesday, January 5th at Flight Fit and Fun at Sand Hill or Irmo. Schedule your donation appointment today using code ABC Columbia.
Welcome back to the news at 6 as we get ready to ring in the new year. In some places, it's already 2021. While many of us were just waking up this morning, Australia was ringing in the new year with fireworks over the famous Sydney Opera House. Just like here in the U.S., the Aussies' celebration was also virtual with no crowds gathering for the celebration because of COVID-19. You just heard them count down into the new year. Then just a few hours later, the new year was welcomed in East Asia. These are celebrations from Taiwan and Hong Kong happening right now. They just wrapped up the countdown in Paris, and within the hour, the clock will strike midnight on Big Ben in London. And here's something we really want you to consider and maybe make it a New Year's resolution as you ring in the new year. It could possibly save a life. It's through the ABC Columbia Blood Drive and our partnership that we have with the American Red Cross. That kicks off Tuesday, January 5th. You can donate at a couple of different locations. They're at the Flight Fit and Fun. That's in Sandhills from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. They also have a location in Irmo. That's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have a link if you want to schedule an appointment on our website at abccolumbia.com. Now for another check of the forecast with Kaitlin.
And you know, Josh, if people are doing anything this evening, and if you did want to go ahead and do those fireworks or whatever you're doing, at least the rain is kind of more widespread right now. It is starting to taper off. More of the moderate rain is now east of Columbia. West of Columbia, we're now kind of seeing a drizzle, but it's starting to break apart. So that's good news. We're not totally done with the rain, though. I'll time it out for you, letting you know what to expect tonight and for your New Year's Day, coming up in just a bit.
It's divinely inspired.
I'm freaking out.
The most fascinating daytime viewing around.
The Drew Barrymore Show.
Weekdays at 10 on ABC Columbia.
I love the truth. The truth sets you free.
Celebrate the 25th anniversary of Judge Judy.
Perfect.
Weekdays at 3 on ABC Columbia.
Total washout of a New Year's Eve, so we'll take it, but still definitely dealing with that rain. It's not pleasant by any means outside. We are dealing with more moderate rain in between Camden and Sumter, heading toward the I-95 and along the I-20 corridor is where most of that rain is. But again, I would say rather moderate east of Columbia, even just east of Columbia, south of Camden, in between Orangeburg and Camden, that stretch there between I-20 and I-26, kind of more of just a mist or light rain. And that's what we're seeing as you travel down south I-20 from Columbia heading toward Augusta. So again, not a washout, and we're actually starting to see the rain taper off a little bit, especially for the western half of our viewing area. But as we head through the evening tonight, this is right around midnight, I'm stopping it. Isolated showers will be possible, but around midnight, I'm not overly concerned with the rain. Certainly no severe weather. I'm more concerned with the dense fog that's going to be developing. Please be careful if you are traveling out on the roads. Roads, of course, are still wet from the rain we've seen through the day today. By about noon tomorrow, we're looking at that coverage not just isolated, rather going to be about scattered as we head through again the first half of the day tomorrow. Coverage will increase scattered to numerous as a cold front sweeps across the area as we head through the evening hours tomorrow. I would say between about 6 and 11 o'clock is when that biggest batch of rain will roll through. We're not totally done with the rain though, guys. First half of Saturday is looking decent. Second half, I think we'll see more rain develop through the area. But let's talk about that cold front. This is the one that's going to bring us an isolated chance for strong to severe storms, a very, very low end threat. This is the lowest it gets basically outside of a general thunderstorm. So a couple of strong storms are possible on Friday, and then that does shift to the coastal areas as we head through the day on Saturday. Now, how much rain are we talking? About an inch, but if I play out the rain we're expecting Saturday evening, some of us could see about an inch and a half. So we'll pick up a decent amount of rain. I wouldn't call it a total washout, but we've seen more pleasant days. We'll dry out as we head through next week. Temperatures do actually warm up to 70 Saturday, back down to the 50s by Sunday.
All right, Kaitlin, thank you. Coming up next in sports, the Clemson Tigers are in New Orleans looking to take care of unfinished business. After the break, Cam Gaskins has more from both teams coming into the Sugar Bowl with something to prove. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Lake Levels presented by Honda of Columbia. Celebrate savings during our year-end clearance going on now. Sports on ABC Columbia is presented by Midland's Orthopedics and Neurosurgery, providing complete musculoskeletal and neurosurgical care. The pioneering past and progressive future meet here.
In a normal season, teams don't really need any extra motivation to get ready for a semifinal playoff game. And in 2020, that's even more so the case. But when you look at both teams playing in the Sugar Bowl tomorrow night, they have an even deeper reason for needing a win in New Orleans. Starting with Clemson, the Tigers last played at Mercedes-Benz Superdome. That was when Trevor Lawrence lost the only game of his career as LSU beat Clemson in the national championship. Now, when you win as much as Clemson does, any loss stings, but this one especially. Dabo Swinney said today, though, that the wins are more motivating for the Tigers than the losses.
I mean, we're motivated by winning just as much as we are losing. I mean, we've won a national championship, and that's pretty motivating. You want to go do it again. And as you mentioned, we lost right here last year, and that's pretty motivating too. We're always motivated to be our best, and certainly we learn from our memories, but as I always say, we just try to keep our dreams greater than our memories. Whether you had a tough loss or you had a big win last year to finish your season. Season's going in one way or the other, and you either win it all if you're in a playoff like this, or you get beat. I think all those things provide motivation.
And the team Clemson is facing has some unfinished business as well. Ohio State blew a lead against Clemson last year in the Fiesta Bowl and now find themselves in a shot again facing the Tigers in the semifinals. Head coach Ryan Day says that memory certainly fueled his team early this season, but it is not their only motivation.
Yeah, I think after last year's game, it was fresh on our mind and something that, was used as motivation. And then as the quarantine kind of hit, there just seemed to be more things that were front and center for a long period of time. And then as the season went on, and we were able to get the season going again, all those goals, right in front and center for us. I think the biggest thing for us is just having an opportunity to tell a great story of all the adversity that this group has overcome.
Clemson and Ohio State kick off at 8 o'clock tomorrow on ESPN. Well, some good news for the Gamecocks from the transfer portal for a change. Some help at the wide receiver position coming to Williams-Brice next year. Today, Georgia Tech wideout Amarion Brown announced he will be transferring to Carolina next season. He had 223 yards with a touchdown this past season and had just under 400 yards with 7 touchdowns 2 years ago as a freshman for the Yellow Jackets. And on the cusp of a new year, it's a time for reflection on all that happened in 2020, and it was a lot. Dawn Staley certainly saw the highs and lows that this year had to offer and shared where her team is at now as they look ahead to 2021.
The first part of 2020 was great for us. I mean, we were hitting on all strides, and then the bottom fell out. And it's the stronger people that are able to handle these type of adversities, and it's precautions, it's protocols, it's rules. I mean, you gotta abide by the rules, and if you're a rules follower, you can separate yourself from having it impact you as much as it has.
That's all the time we have for right now in sports. Stick around though, we have one last look at your weather coming up after the break.
And we do have showers out there right now, but rain coverage is going to come in waves, kind of tapering off. Happy New Year's Eve, by the way. Dealing with that fog overnight with lows bottoming out around 49.
I can confirm that fireworks have started to go off, at least in Irmo. All right, have a good night.